Welcome to She's All Over the Place. We are live right now. So excited to have you here. We have a special episode today. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I curated something really, really special. Just give me 2 seconds because I'm just going to hit the live on my Instagram live, which is now live, which is great. So I'm with Jen right now. She goes by Siren AI. She is an artist. She is the co-founder of the One Love Art DAO. And, I had this idea. I'll get into the story, but I haven't curated anything in over a year. And 11 days before Mental Health Awareness Month, I just woke up and had an epiphany. I'm like, oh, because I was wanting to psychologically let go of this music so I can, clear my vessel to create new artwork. And in 2020, I built this huge catalog. So I have this huge catalog of 4 years of all this music. And when I woke up, I'm like, oh, Mental Health Awareness Month, I can curate and do a song a day and honor the Web3 community, the people in the space. And then I'm like, let me sleep on it. I slept on it for like 3 more days. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll ask artists in the community if they want to be a part of the curation, if they aligned with certain topics on mental wellness. And Jen has the One Love Art DAO, and I was like running it by her. And I asked her if she wanted to come on. So she came on. She's been a great friend, emotional support buddy. She's ended up co-producing this curation with me. And it's just made us grow our relationship even more in depth. And just by curating and having an open space, we've been able to brainstorm and talk about other things. But this week we are focusing on all from day one to right now. So day 1 to day 9. And that's what we're going to be focused on. We're going to be focused on, just honoring Mental Health Awareness Month, and not just this month, but how it applies, the practice of it every single moment of every single day. And it doesn't always have to be so heavy. We can make it lighthearted. So some of the music, is really in depth, but some of the music is really marches to the beat of its own drum, if you will. And it's uplifting too. So I'm really excited to share more with you. But Jen, take it away.
Hey, guys, welcome. Just real quick, Katie, can you unmic on Space? I just want to see if the audio is coming through.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even unmuted. Like no one heard anything I said. That's hilarious.
They heard it in the live, so that's great. But that's awesome. Okay, so welcome everybody to the space. I'm so happy to have you guys here. When Katie approached me about this, I thought it was a wonderful idea, an opportunity to co-create. She has an amazing talent, not only as an actress, but also she is a phenomenal voice and a great singer. And the idea of being able to have a curated space with artists from the One Love community and other members of the community at large was really important for me. So welcome everybody. And Katie, actually, I think there's a little bit of reverb because your mic is hot right now. So
I put the phone up here, but I guess I don't have to do that anymore. I put it down. Is it good now?
Yeah, whenever you want to talk into the space, just unmic and then they'll be able to hear it and we won't have that reverb. Hey, Janine. Hey, Gabe. Hi, everybody. So happy you guys are here. So Katie is going to start it off by explaining a little bit about this first track, 1917. I pinned it up to the top, and I'm also going to share the description so that you guys can see that while she plays the music.
Okay, perfect. All right, I just unmiked. I'll unmic when I'm not talking, mic when, or what the vibes are. So, okay, 1917. I was just talking with Jen earlier, and I couldn't believe it because, in a nutshell, when I produce, I see things, as a conductor and like an orchestra. So the 31 pieces, it's curated from like an intro, a beginning, middle, and end, and takes you on this whole journey. And then I just came up with the conclusion of it the other day, but we'll get there later in the month. But to start it off, I was, a couple years ago playing. I did a couple AI series, and I was playing in the app Prequel, and I was taking some images. I have so many images, and I was taking some images and putting in the Prequel app, and then running it through these AI programs and different filters. And one splattered the image that you could see across my eyes that looks like paint, and it was like black and white, and it said 1917. And so when I was going through all the artwork I had in images, in addition to the artist work in the community, um, the one that stuck out to me was 1917. And and then I thought in my mind, so I utilize AI, Gemini AI, and I thought, like, how was mental health in 1917? Like, how was mental health in 1917? Where were we then? Our growth, and where are we now? And when I was reading it, I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of similarities. Like, oh, we've come a long way. We have a lot of words, buzzwords, and identifications, but also there's a lot of stigmas around it. So it's very short. I'll read it, but you listen for yourself and take it in. Of like, I mean, this is just from one source, obviously, but in a nutshell of what it says. And the other thing I want to share, it's because I was talking with Jen earlier, is it's so wild because 1917 was World War I, and the following day on 1918, 11/11, or the following year on 1918, 11/11, World War I ended, and that's my birthday, 11/11. So it's like, this is like mind blowing how things connect, right? They don't connect, but when we have intentions with things, they end up aligning. And I just realized that today with Jen, so I thought that was really interesting. I'm gonna read. Hopefully not too fast. Hopefully not too slow. But okay. So yeah, I went into the AI program, and I'm just like, how is mental health in 1917, particularly amongst soldiers, was a grim picture. Shell shock. That's what they called it. Shell shock. World War I saw a massive rise in mental breakdowns among soldiers, often referred to as shell shock, quote unquote. The condition, now recognized as PTSD, caused symptoms like nightmares, anxiety, tremors, and unexplained physical issues. Lacking the understanding, which is similar to some things now still, medical professionals of the time often attributed shell shock to physical causes rather than psychological ones. This led to ineffective treatments like electroconvulsive therapy and physical conditioning, often worsening the soldier's condition. There's stigma and shame in 1917, just like there is today. There was an immense stigma around mental health issues, especially in the military context. Soldiers suffering from shell shock were often seen as weak and cowardly, further hindering them from seeking help. Like today, so many people are paralyzed and isolated to speak up because they see it as like a weak or it's a cowardly thing. And that's why Brene Brown talks about the power of vulnerability. Limited treatment options. Treatments were primitive compared to today. Rest, observation, and talking therapies were available, but the understanding of mental health was far from advanced. Here are some key points to remember. Unprecedented scale. The sheer scale of the war's horror led to a mental health crisis among soldiers, unlike anything previously experienced in World War I. Misdiagnosis, which happens all the time now, and ineffective treatments. The lack of understanding of PTSD led to misdiagnosis and ineffective treatments, causing further suffering. Stigma and shame. The societal stigma surrounding mental health prevented many soldiers from seeking help. While 1917 marked a turning point in recognizing the psychological impact of war, effective treatment and societal acceptance of mental health struggles of mental health struggles were still far off. That's where they were in 1917. It, to me, I was like, wow, it seems very similar to some bullet points of today. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, Katie, that was tremendous. Thank you so much for reading that and offering that historical context. And I feel like today, even now, like we hear it in spaces, we hear friends from Iran. We hear friends from all over the world in these war-torn countries, or people who immigrated within the last 30 years, or their parents immigrated within the last 30 years here in the United States, who certainly have PTSD, and sort of how they're dealing with that, and this like constant mental warfare that they experience. And so I think that's very important, and I'm happy that you created a track that brings awareness to that. I actually live in a community with quite a lot of soldiers. It's a common thing. Unfortunately, they did many tours either in Afghanistan or Iraq, and so they seek therapy for these things, and it shouldn't be a stigma. And the more educated that we become, the better equipped we are as a society to sort of help our brothers and sisters whenever they have those moments that can be triggered, honestly, by something as easy as a firework or a loud sound, or something that reminds them of a situation and puts them back into that mindset. So love that. And you wanted to go ahead and play that track for everybody so that they could listen?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the track now. It's kind of like, when you're listening to an album, there's like a short intro track. That's what it is. It's just like an intro track. It's glitch pop. It's an intro. It's basically saying I love you. But one thing I would just like to mention on what you just talked about was I just saw like a short video today about what's happening in Brazil, and like this woman was traumatized about like everyone dying and losing their homes, and it's really sad to see. There was a huge celebration just a few days ago with Madonna breaking world records of having 2 million people at her finale tour, her musical tour, um, and everyone celebrating in joy. And then a couple days later, there's such catastrophe. So it's like 1 minute we could be healthy and doing great, and the next minute we never know. So don't judge a book by its cover, by how someone looks or what you think that they have externally, because we don't know what's happening internally. Okay, so I will play the first track. Okay, here we go. It's called 1917 Mental Health Matters. Yeah, so that's it. It's just wait, let me stop that. Hold on. So yeah, that's the opening. It's the opening. It's one of my favorite beats out of the catalog. It's glitch pop. I love glitch. I love pop, and it's just saying I love you, and it's just like the beginning of like mental health matters. Like I love you, and that's really the statement, of the song and the meaning of it. They all are CC0, so they're all free right now. And when you collect, it's CC0. So if you ever want to put it to any of your art, go ahead. If you ever like want to lay any vocals to it, or just collect them and give it to your friend and say, I know you're going through a hard time, or I love you and I want you to know I always emotionally support you. You can collect as many as you want, and it's on base, so it's like a couple cents to actually mint them. Yep, and they're all like that. They're all CC0.
Thank you. That's awesome, especially for artists who are looking for like audio to pair with their art, or even on Instagram Reels, anything like that. So CC0 is awesome. Thank you so much for making the art in that format. I went ahead and pinned up to the top the link. It is a free mint. All you're going to be paying is like micro cents for the gas fee, like Katie just pointed out. And I do see that we have one of our artists from the One Love community, amazing community member Ilviews, is up on the stage. Wanted to welcome him and see if he wanted to maybe contribute to this particular track, anything about PTSD. before we move on to the next track and subject. Welcome, my friend.
It's another great day, everybody. I'm a veteran myself. It was really hard for me to get through all of it. I to this day, I don't really like to talk about my experience, but I am open to sharing about everything that I went through.
Well, first of all, we appreciate your service. It's another great day. And definitely don't share what you're not prepared to share or comfortable to share. We see, we love you. But if you wanted to maybe contribute to maybe some of the things that you have seen others who have PTSD, and if not, then we could definitely just move on to the next track, whichever you prefer, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I went through a lot of things where like I couldn't. When I got back, I had where I lived. I had a window by the bathroom, or like where I would shower, and I couldn't be in the view of the window. I would always be like somewhere I couldn't be seen. Just little simple things like that, like going on the highway. I was always expecting to get shot from another car. Always analyzing the angles or where what position would be best to avoid getting hurt. Yeah, it was really hard. I kept it in for a long time, and finally it just overwhelmed me, and it came out. And that was really the best thing that I could have done. Just express myself. That was the beginning of me starting to express myself. And just for so long, I held it in, not just my experience in the military, but everything that I had gone through all through my childhood and leading up to those moments. And my experience with other people has been very similar, where it's been hard for them to experience everyday life, from going out to work to fireworks. These are all things that really pull triggers, and you can be fine one moment and just not fine the next moment. I'm happy to say that I don't suffer from that anymore, and it's a direct result from me expressing myself and just being as open as I can. A lot of times, um, I get the comment when I speak about the vulnerable things, about how brave I am, and I accept the compliment, but it no longer takes bravery, because now it's just me being open to share my feelings, to allow others to relate to those things. And it's just how we are as humans. We kind of we take what we're seeing other people do as what's okay to do. And so for me, it's been important to express myself as much as possible so that others feel okay to express themselves. I try to do that with my art now. As I delve deeper into my own trauma previous to me going to the military. It's, it's hard, but we sometimes see those things, those hard things to do, as things that we shouldn't do, because we're used to avoiding uncomfortable feelings, the discomfort in general. And sometimes we're not ready, and sometimes doing it would actually hurt us. And so it's important for us to, for us, just all people, to be patient. And sometimes the curse of getting better is that we know what it's like to get better, so we expect other people to do those things, or to push them to become better as well. And you really have to let people process how they need to process. That's really important. We really shouldn't push people to do more than what they can handle. We are not in their shoes. Nobody else was in our shoes. And so it's very important that we respect other people and their journey. We can't rush. We can't rush the things that we all need to go through.
Oh my goodness. Just so beautifully said. And thank you so much for adding to that conversation from your own experience. I did just want to say real quick, just as an asterisk, because you never know, but we are not medical professionals. This is more of a share experiential type of a space. And I think that what you just said, Ilvius, is so accurate, which is that everybody discovers where they are on their healing journey on their own timeline, and they address it in their own way. And really, the key for us is to hold space and to be patient with people and to be loving with people and to just be friends to people as they go through that journey. So I'd love everything that you contributed. Thank you so, so very much again for your service and for sharing with us. Some of the things that you experienced as you were going through your healing process. And I'm really so happy as your friend to hear that you no longer have those things, and that, of course, art has played such a critical role in your healing process, because I think art is life. I think art is love, and I think art is a healing tool. And I did want to also, just on a quick programming note, I do see that we have a friend who requested. What we're going to do is welcome friends up who are part of this curation. Ilviews is one of them. I do see Rainbow is in the space. Welcome, my friend. And of course, shout out to Janine, Gabe, Kitty, Pantea, Nahir, Alex, and First Steps. We welcome you here. And I did see my good friend, Dr. Lemney, come into the space earlier. Much love to all of you for coming and participating. If you could kindly just hit that bubble on the bottom and repost this space, or drop a comment so that we can get more friends here. Or if you curate your page, which I totally understand, if you could just maybe send it via DM to a couple of friends that you think might benefit from this conversation. We're going to be listening to several tracks. This was just the first one. And with that, I'll pass it over to Katie so she can share with us what the next track is and the meaning behind that. And all of the information on the tracks is going to be shared up top to the nest, the link to where you can mint it, the art cover of it, and also a brief description that goes along with the music. Take it away, Katie.
Love it, love it. I'm just taking it all in, and thank you so much, everyone. Like Jen said, for being here, and everyone on the live, that live IG, and we're live everywhere. I love this live vibe. It's so good. I've been doing my podcast since the end of 2019, and I've been like in studios, like I am right now. If you're on the video live, and I've just been like having these in-depth conversations, and then behind the scenes, and then putting it out in on all the podcast platforms and streaming over 100 countries. So it's like doing it secretly behind the scenes, but so to have this new dynamic and element is like a lot of fun. It's so much fun, and it's showing up and being present and being vulnerable and not hiding. And I think that's part of PTSD and some of the trauma, and being invisible and not being seen, and having some courage of just like showing up and being like a part of the vibe. So I'm in a whole new dynamic space. And with what Ill Views was sharing, is I'm not even to comment on any of it. I'm just gonna say I receive it. I loved hearing it, and it's all about like what Jen said, holding space. So just to be able just to hear you communicate and say all that, like I have so many thoughts, but like I don't even need to say anything because like my mind knows, my energy knows, my soul knows, and I said I just want to say thank you, and I know that's a ripple for many people, and it's why we're showing up right now, just to have that communication and just to be a ripple. So wonderful. Okay, so the next track is is actually one of my favorite songs out of the whole curation 31, one song per day. um and I'm not gonna make it like all about me at all. It's not, but um this one is close. They're all close to my heart, but this one is very close to my heart because it's called Love Bomber, Gaslighting, Narcissism, Glitch, Glitch, Glitch. I don't know about y'all, but I was super single, super just in love with God and the universe, and my art are my babies. And like for me to have intimacy, it's like a whole nother thing. And I did get involved in a toxic relationship, and I don't blame and shame any of those things. It was an opportunity to have a mirror and to learn. Always knowing what I wanted, knowing what I don't want, but never allowing and not tolerating unnecessary things. And I learned so much through neuroscientists and studying for so many years. And I even published a book. So I thought it was really important on these topics because I went through them emotionally and I tolerated things and I was confused and there was invisible lines and I was confused with the gaslighting and I was love bombing. So I researched all these doctors. So I'm like, if I can have an opportunity to put this on chain and put the description, because if you any of you are listening to this and you go to the description and you see it and you know what it is, great, you can share with others and just by clicking like a link. Or if you're reading it and you're like, oh my god, that's similar, or I felt that before, or maybe I do that. And so it could be a reflection to learn and grow together. And I'm super grateful that it's on chain, and we're leading thy way, which is really really exciting. With no further ado, I will play this. It's Glitch Pop. It's one of my favorite ones. Here we go. Again, if you just read the description, then you can read more about what it is, what it means. The One second, clicking.
Yes, and before you hit that button, I just want to remind the people that they can mint it for free, and the links are all up top.
Yeah. Going to my page profile. I'm like, view all releases. There it is. All right, y'all. Here we go. So that is one of my favorite runs. Like the beat is so hard, I just let it ride. I just let it ride the F out. Because you know when you hear something, like you just want to hear it over and over again. That beat is so sick. Like that's just like next level. Like oh, it just drives me crazy. I love it so much. So it's glitch pop. If you like glitch pop, if you have any friends in the space that like glitch pop, you can collect it for them yourself. Like I said, there's CC0, so you can put it to all your art. Like it, some of the tracks are so long, you can like loop them for 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Like you could do like a whole series with like the different with like one track. It's whatever. We're artists. We can do whatever we want, right? Yeah. Thanks for listening.
That was fire. You have me in my office over here. Just if anybody's watching me on the live feed, they know I was vibing to that one big time. That was so good. And on the topic of love bombing, I mean, I've certainly experienced it myself, but I think it was really painful to watch was to watch somebody that I dearly cared for going through it and not being able to like see it, right? Because she was so just caught up in the moment and everything was great and she wanted to be loved so badly, you know. And then I think that person really picked up on that and really used it to their advantage, and in came all of these gifts and these grandiose gestures. And you know, for women it's hard not to appreciate those things and just automatically assume that it's coming from a genuine place or a place of real love, long lasting kind of love. And I remember early on, it was like maybe like week 2, and I was observing some things, and I went to my friend and I was like, hey, don't you think that's a little bit off, a little bit peculiar that you just like met this guy and like out of nowhere he's like invited into our home and meeting people and meeting the kids, and I know that he's lovely and he's sending all of these gifts, but just practice the pause. Like if it's meant to be, it'll be. Like just allow, let it flow. And of course, you know, like the message wasn't received well, and unfortunately she had to sort of learn the hard way. But nevertheless, like it's a thing, it's something that people can certainly look out for. I love that you made music to bring attention to it. But just so people know, this is the definition of it that I found on the internet in case you're not aware of what love bombing is, and you're better able to detect it for yourself, but also for those around you that you care about. So, love bombing is defined as a form of psychological and emotional abuse that involves excessive flattery, gifts, and a pressure to win you over. So, if you don't know, there's lots of articles, you know, that go deep in depth on it, and you can definitely take a look so that you're better prepared if those situations do come up for you or for those you love. And I do know that we have Rainbow up on the stage, and Ilviews is here as well. So if you guys wanted to contribute to the conversation, you're of course more than welcome to unmic. And yeah, go ahead. Awesome. Welcome, Rainbow.
Oh, she's here. Okay, so we want to say hi. This is here we have Jenny. Here we have Katie. So now let's remember that they use your words.
I don't hear her.
Supporting artists. It takes a lot of it. And they use your artwork, your flowers, and they gave a background with the storms. And you
My goodness, such wisdom. Like I just have to take that in. Wow. Oh my goodness. I cannot just Yadira, you have literally a treasure of a daughter. And welcome, Rainbow. We briefly met at NFT NYC, but I think this is the first time that I actually had the privilege of being able to hear you in a space and speak to you. And yeah, like what you said, we go through things and it's not just about like what we experience, but also like what we are unfortunately capable of doing to others, right? And that takes a lot of bravery to do that self assessment, to be like, that aware that you may be part of the problem and how it is that you can address that. And, how we deal with those things is not a one size fits all for sure. And I just appreciate greatly you coming up and speaking about that. I went ahead and pinned up to the top your piece, which accompanies one of Katie's track that we're going to get to. And the really, I wanted to mention something that Katie, Yadira, and I discovered in conversations, which is that Rainbow is part Greek and part Puerto Rican. Katie is Greek and I am Dominican, but I was raised in a household where my stepfather was Greek. So I just feel like there's so much synchronicity and so much, like alignment. It's such a beautiful thing to experience in this space. And your art is absolutely beautiful, Rainbow. Never stop creating, never stop being you, and never stop being a voice for the youth and also for people in general. Um, because I feel like you're very tapped into people's emotions and you have a very good understanding of observing humans around you. And what you just articulated just really proved that. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming up and speaking with us. Katie, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I totally want to chime in. I just wanted to say thank you because when I opened the invitation for the curation for Mental Health Awareness Month, Rainbow, you were the first person to say yes. And I'm a jumper too. Like, and there's that saying, like, oh, the early bird gets the worm. Like, listen, the more you say yes to other people, the more sometimes we say no to ourselves, or the more we say no to other people, the more we say yes to ourselves. So, there's that balance of knowing when to say yes or no. But when you listen to your excitement and your passion and your art, and you connected and aligned with mental health awareness like how I do, and you were just so vigorous and you said yes and you were excited and you sent your art right away, I just want to compliment you. Like, as a teenager, I remember being a teenager and like having that enthusiasm and that vigor and that power, and just to listen to my intuition. So just I saw that mirror reflection. So I just wanted to compliment you on that and say thank you so much. And you're a fellow Greek, and you were like the first person to submit your art and to say yes. So I just want to honor you and let you know that. Thank you so much.
Rainbow's mom here, she moved on and she's listening, the background listening, as you can imagine. So she really appreciates this, again, the support, the initiative. And I just heard it and just corroborating what you said, the importance of having these conversations here. I am a parent of a teen on the autism spectrum, a teen who has
Oh, yeah, Theta, thank you so much. We're honored, truly, by you, by Rainbow. And we're going to go to the next track. And then after that one, the fourth one, is the one that got paired with Rainbow's music. So we're just, again, so thrilled and so lucky and so blessed. And what you said was just so profound about removing yourself. I'm a parent too, and I have been learning that lesson. Mine are 12 and 10. Yeah, so your wisdom really just hit me right in the gut just there, because it's important that we remove ourselves sometimes from certain situations. And yeah, we're just lucky that we're all aligned with each other, with you and your beautiful daughter. So thank you for joining us today. And Katie, you have another track that you're going to play, which is from your collection, and the art that got paired to that one was from Raven 50 millimeter, excuse me. She's not in the space, but this is a recorded space. I'm sure she'll tune in afterwards. I'll go ahead and start pinning things up to the top, and take it away, Katie.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I just sent the new link to Raven, so I don't know if she'll pop in or not, but I'll play it. And when I asked her to be a part of the curation, she had art immediately, and she's like, ADHD is my superpower. I'm like, it sure is. And I really loved that positive spin that was put onto the title, because not all of them have to be so detrimental and like down, right? Because there's serious topics. It's like, how are these neurodivergents our superpowers and how they work for us? And that's also what I want to say, like, about the music. When you hear this, it's not your traditional like first verse, second verse, chorus, how you hear it on the radio, whatever. This is experimental music, and I write poetry with lyrics. And when I make beats, I use a beat pad. And when I make beats with my fingers and on the beat pad, the music is poetry and my emotions through sounds. So when it moves and it goes on this journey, it's how I'm feeling emotionally. So when things are off and it doesn't make sense, it's because that's how life is, and that's how I am, and I'm off and I think different ways and I feel different ways. So that's how you hear the music. It's experimental. Okay, cool. Here's the next one. Yay. It's called ADHD is my superpower. So with that one, it's actually Shade 45 with like Eminem during the pandemic. They had this like whole hip hop thing. So I like went crazy and I made like 7 hip hop beats in a row. So that was when I made that during the pandemic. Because Shade 45 had this thing, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it. So that's where that beat came from. Yeah.
I love that. And I love the empowering message because I really do think that, and I have experienced that myself. And have many friends who are on the spectrum. And I truly do believe that it is a superpower to see the world in a very different way, to be able to multitask. Some of the most creative people, entrepreneurs, are on the spectrum. I believe the founder of JetBlue, Elon Musk, just to name a few. So I love that. I love that it's an empowering message, saying that it's not like an infirmity, it's just a different way of looking at life and flowing through life. So kudos to you. That beat was hard too. Like I was vibing. It was great.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And they're all CC0, so you can put your own lyrics to it. You can take your art, wrap your art around it, like whatever you want. It's like a 2-minute track, so you can split it up for 30 seconds. However you want to do it as an artist, but you can collect it, for a limited time. Now they're free. So shout out to Raven who did the cover art for it, and yeah, so that's that vibe. And the next we have day 4 with Rainbow. Oh, she's a listener right now, but yeah, so day 4, I the track is called 1 second. I'm just on my sound profile, and then when I click it, for some reason something happens. Post? No, that's different. Electronics people. I'm looking at my account here. I have to like restart it. 1 second. Here we go. Saint Kyriaki. There she is. It's not bringing up my. Well, stop it. I'm just like gonna go out of this thing and go back in. So let me go to my Twitter page. Rainbow already chatted, so there's like a lot of buttons happening.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Here, I'm just gonna play it right from here. We go. Right here. Here it is. Show more. All right. Should we just play the next track?
Yeah, play the neurodevelopmental one, the one that has Rainbow's cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna click the link. Yeah, it's autism on the spectrum. It's a neurological condition. And here's the track. Word. So, neurological condition, autism on the spectrum. That is the name of the song. Rainbow is the artist. And there's a handle on here that started following me not too long ago. It's called By Autistic. And they reached out to me, and we're supposed to have a phone call tomorrow. But I connected Rainbow with By Autistic, and they're doing some really cool things in the space. And we're going to talk, and they want to do a collaboration. And, I go to the United Nations for events often through, some of my friends who invite me, and I met this woman who's really doing stuff with the United Nations as well. And last month was World Autism Day, and there was a whole couple hour event that went on, that and different people from around the world who are autistic, they came and they did short little videos, and they were speaking on the vibes of autism as we are now collectively around the world, just getting together and just sharing and having conversations, and spreading awareness and normalizing it and making it okay to talk about these topics. Because as we read, from 1917, people were shamed and there was a stigma and they were blamed. And so they were silenced, and it was very cowardly and weak to speak about things. And that's how still in 2024, how people feel and how I personally felt. And now just having like more confidence in a lot of ways, and being able to share in safe communities. I'm really grateful for this piece, for Rainbow as a teenager. And, she has the support, the good support around her. And I encourage people to continue to, talk with people, and make sure that it's okay to feel comfortable saying what you say without feeling shamed or blamed, because we're all really unique. And that's what makes us all really special, too. Hi, Sketch.
Yes, welcome, Sketch. I see her. We've got an amazing, amazing group of people in the listening audience. And I see Giancarlo is here, and Giancarlo has shared in the past, some of the things that he himself has experienced with his daughter, and just, some of the challenges. And I really appreciate all of you guys for coming in and popping in tonight to listen to this incredible lineup of music. And I do see Nico has popped in. His son Caden had his documentary debut today. Shout out to Nico and Caden. I saw it on YouTube. It's fantastic. It's like 10 to 15 minutes, you guys. If you have not listened to it, I highly recommend you do so. And interestingly enough, he just came in right at that track. Caden also has autism and is a phenomenal artist. And so you could see like the energy, the frequency attracts at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but he's the dad is the person who handles the account, much like how Yadira handles Rainbow's account, and he's fantastic, just a wonderful human being. And yeah, they're members of One Love as well, so maybe you guys can connect a little more and see if there's something that you guys can collaborate on. But yeah, welcome everybody to the space. Just a quick programming note. I do see that somebody requested. Right now, we're only bringing up people who are part of that curation that Katie did for this artwork. So if you want to wait till towards the end of the space, then we'll bring you up. And yes, we're moving right along to the next track. If you can like and repost this space or share it to anybody that you think would benefit from talking about mental health awareness, we would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'll leave it to you, Katie, to the next track.
Yeah, well, since we just a little intermission note, since so many beautiful One Love Art DAO members are here, I was in Southampton last week, and last year I met Brenda Simmons, who worked for the mayor for 11 years, and she opened, it took her 16 years, and it's the first African American art museum in the Hamptons. And like I told her all about Web3 and the artists, and so the BIPOC community and everyone from One Love Art DAO is invited. But they have screens there, and so everyone who wants to get involved there's an invitation. So we're going to be able to curate and have your artwork in the museum in the Hamptons, which is like super chic and super cool. And it'll be an ongoing collaboration. So we're going to roll that out. But just for the people who are here listening live, that's just like a little treat that I want to that's been producing and brewing up on my end within my heart and soul to pay it forward for our Web3 community members and really honoring the culture, the African culture. She was on my show just last week and she was saying how like, she said it and I was like, what? But she's like how people want to like write them out of the story, like write people from history. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, so that's just a little share. So thank you for listening. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for doing that. And yeah, no, we're not going to allow that. Not gonna.
I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I know. But I was just like responding, like, what? Like, that's not going to happen. Okay. So our next piece is by our host, Jen, Siren AI. And this piece, she submitted. You can see it for yourself. And there's a beautiful heart in the brain. And I was really meditating and listening to the music and the options of the topics. And for years now, people have been saying how we're in a loneliness epidemic, and how Punancha, who was just on my podcast this week, who's the CEO of the Chopra Foundation. He says it so wisely, how we're all connected, but we're all connected, but we're all so lonely, right? We're all like connected, but we're just so lonely. And I was sharing with Jen, I mean, this is kind of graphic, but I mean, I remember my sister was telling me like a year ago how like we're in cities and we're like on the electronics here, but there are people isolated on islands and in villages. And like I'm Greek, and like my sister was telling me how there are people in Greece on islands who like aren't even gay, but they're just having sex with one another just because they're so lonely to have the intimacy. Like people are so lonely and they just need the touch and feel of human connection. And people are so lonely, and so we have a huge loneliness epidemic. And so this track is called For Thy Lonely Heart. And Jen, any words you want to please say about it before I play the track would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that I'll contribute to this is just my own experience. I feel like I have been working from home actually pre-pandemic since 2011. And so you have to be like really, really mindful of being alone and getting used to being alone and being intentional about like going out and making it your business to socialize. When the pandemic hit, it took something that was already sort of like affecting me low key to a whole other level, because then everybody was in their house and everybody was basically working from home. And I remember that when the pandemic was over, there was like maybe 2-3 month period where I had to acclimate myself to socializing. I would go into social settings where there were a lot of people and I didn't even know what to do anymore. Like I didn't know how to, like, what do I say? Where do I put my hands? Like it was just so awkward. And these devices are fantastic because they're kind of like a supplement for that. And we're able to connect worldwide with a whole bunch of people, and it's great. But there is no substitute for human interaction, for community, for that social component. And so this piece, I love that you resonated with it, because if you look at the artwork, it's a human, but it's turning sort of into like a robotic version of a human. And the heart is sort of like right on the side of the head. And you can interpret that however you want. But for me, it's like there's this balance that we really have to be mindful of and be very intentional about how we use technology and how much we actually are interacting, real life in the real world. So that's all that I would want to contribute to the conversation before you hit that play button.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's a shorter track, but it's really impactful. Here we go. Yes. I get so emotional. I don't know about y'all. That's just like really freaking touches my heart deep. I'm like welling up over here. I love that piece. They are CC0, so you can collect them on base. You can just use it for your own heart, share them with others, put them to your own art, whatever you would like to do with them. But go read the description as well and see what our Gemini AI says about the loneliness epidemic that we're in right now. So maybe we can remember to take all the steps to connect, any way that we can with real intimacy and touch. They say, I don't know the exact number, but when a baby's a baby, it needs to be caressed and touched. I think it's like 120 times like per day or something, or else the baby will die. We need that human connection and we need the touch.
Yeah, and I just would like to add also for us to be mindful of our elders who sometimes are not in a position to socialize so much. I know that Katie is amazing about touching in with her grandma. She always checks in with her grandma on a daily basis. I happen to have the privilege of having my grandmother here for the last 10 years of her life. And it was just such a joy. And I know that that's not the situation for everybody. I know that there are elders who are really alone. So if that's somebody that you know in your life, just give them a call, just check on them. They appreciate it. It goes a long way. You're a good granddaughter, Kane.
It's never enough though, you know what I mean? Especially with my yaya. I mean, she's my best friend in the world, and it's never enough. It's never enough, It's never enough, and I don't even want to say it, but I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I mean, every moment has its season, but I don't even know how I'll deal when those moments cross. But I know, my condolences to Sketch Poetic because I know she just lost her dad. So I feel that, and can't imagine what she's growing through right now. But I told her, thank God we have our art, so we can put it, reflect and put it into our art. So we get to put it somewhere, and so many other people that they don't know how to channel it. So I mean, it's a gift that we have, but maybe we can teach that to others to a certain degree. I don't know, or just share it, right? Just share the art. Okay, you want to take the next one and we'll move it along?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go real quick to your profile and shout out to Sketch, sending all my love.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I was remembering Miami Art Basel. My daughter met Sketch, and she painted all over her arm, and it was like the highlight of Carmen's experience at Miami. It was so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
it was cool. All right, so the next track, if I'm reading the order correctly, is going to be well, I can't say the word, but FUK, sex trafficking. So it's a track that calls, awareness towards that. And the artist whose cover art is by Iban Broker, and on the cover art it says, "If I could change the world, I would." So if you want to just cue that up, and I will post all of the links, the cover art, up to the nest.
Are we not allowed to say the F word on here?
Well, it's not that we can't, it's that there's probably a kid one.
Out.
Yeah, so we got to be
Yeah.
mindful of that.
So it's FUXK, sex trafficking, sexual abuse, rape. And yeah, screw that. Screw those things. Spiritual rape, physical rape, all that. Screw it. Not happening. Okay, here we go. That's a trip, huh? That is such a trip. I love that track. I love that track so much because you never know what's going to happen. And that's how life is. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's just like takes you on a journey. So I hope y'all fuck with it and feel, oh, excuse me, mess with it and feel that. Um, I just want to share something really quick. A couple years ago, Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, did like a 5-minute chat with Apple in this collaboration. And he was like, I don't make music, first verse, second verse, chorus, like you hear on the radio. He's like, I just press record and I just make the music. And it is what it is. It's just experimental. That's the vibe. So um when he said that, I was like, oh, it just like I didn't have to explain myself. I'm like, that's who I am. That's how I am. That's how I make my music. Like I don't need to explain anyone to anything. Like people get it or they don't. And it's like with what I have going on and how I am. It's like this is how I feel and this is the music and I don't edit it. This is just how it is. That's the way I do it. I know people go in and edit and I've been like a perfectionist, quote unquote, or recovering perfectionist. I'm from imposter syndrome and I've totally um spent so many years like not being that way. So when it comes to art and painting and being an abstract artist on the canvas and just like my poetry and my music, I just leave it. I'm like verbatim. I'm like here it is, start to finish. And if something happens, I just like I'm like a kid. I'm like go with it, and that's what we're taught, right? And that's what I get to do in the music. I get to play and have fun and take myself on a journey and then share that with others. So and then attach it to meaningful things that are like sex trafficking and rape and just it's disturbing and connecting them and expecting the unexpected and not knowing what we don't know, and that's what's going to happen in the music. We don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen to someone else or what has happened to someone else, and we can listen to understand, and that's my thought on this collaboration. I don't know if the artist is here as well from the cover art.
He isn't, but I did bring up Pantea up on stage. Pantea is an amazing community member. She literally formed a Telegram group that's all Iranian women, and she facilitates conversations with resources, education. She's amazing. And I just wanted to say hi to her and welcome her to the space and see if there's something that she wanted to contribute on these mental health awareness topics. Welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, thank you, my dear Jenny. Thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you very much. And hi to dear Saint and Giancarlo and another my friend in this space. Sorry, dear Saint, my English is not good for speaking about my feeling in this moment. But I want to say something. I'm proud of you. I enjoyed it all the time. I enjoy it. Well done, my friend. Well done. As a woman, I proud of you. I can't say anything with it. And love you so much. Nice to meet you proudly. Thank you very much for your great space, my Jenny. And I learned more important things in this space tonight for me. And thank you, dear Saint. And keep going. I'm proud of you. Thank you very much. And show your talented things to us. Thank you very much. Love you so much.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to hear your voice. Your English is great, by the way. And we appreciate you. And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going and growing together. So there's no stopping. We're just going to keep going. So yes, yes, yes to that. Love it. No problem. It's the only way we know to go is to go. we're just going forward, period. My pleasure. Thank you for being here, for showing up. Appreciate you. I'm glad you vibe with it all. Thank you very much.
And I do see that we have 2 other requests. Totally your call if you wanted to bring them up to this space. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to bring up Payman. Payman is a visual artist, composer, abstract artist. bring him up to the space and welcome him. And then there's another one, Michael. Good evening. Welcome. How you doing, Payman?
It's connecting. I just want to say, just to remind everyone, this audio will be downloaded. It will stream on my podcast. She's all over the place. We're live here. The space is recorded live. We will be putting it on the podcast street. She's all over the place, which will stream in over 100 countries. So just want to be mindful of, what you're sharing in the space, that you're comfortable, because it is a recorded space, and we're gonna have it on my podcast platform. Thank you so much.
Awesome. It looks like Payman is still connecting. I do know that sometimes he has connection issues. So while he's doing that, we'll welcome Michael. Hey, Michael. How you doing?
Hello? Oh, you're on mute now, Michael.
Oh, okay. It looks like maybe there's some technical difficulties, but if you can unmic, great. If not, then what we'll do is we'll just, keep rolling along. We have a few more tracks left, and then we could bring you back up to the space. So, Katie, why don't you go ahead and play the next one, and I will pin up all of the information for you guys up to the nest. Again, all of this is CCO. So it's a free mint. You could use it for however you like. You could gift it to somebody. You could use it on your own music, on your own art, excuse me. And yeah, so thank you all for joining us and moving right along.
This track is called Depression, Anxiety, Paint, Suffering, Trauma, internationally. And I was thinking about all of us artists internationally, how we know about depression, how we know about anxiety, how we know about trauma and suffering, and then we decide to paint and put it into our art and then share with one another internationally. So that's where this track comes from. Thank you. Here it is. Okay. Oh, that was a very heavy one, y'all. That was a really heavy one. Would love to hear from, people tuning in how that made you feel. I know how it makes me feel. It really touches in my heart, but would love to hear for some people if they felt anything from it and how it made them feel, or and I can share. But I would love to hear from what y'all. I know how it makes me feel and what I think. So would love to hear from you.
Well, I just wanted to say that the cover art for this one really blew me away when I first saw it, where it's like the mirror image of you. So I just kudos to you because I thought that was like super fire. And then as far as like the feelings when I was listening to it, like I just like sort of closed my eyes the first time I listened to it, and I could really like vibe with it. And I was thinking of anxiety and sort of like the ups and downs that entails. I also happen to have anxiety to the point where I sometimes have episodes where I scratch really badly, and it's like not myself anymore. Like I don't really have control of it, and it's called like anxious scratching or anxious itching and stuff like that. Um, I think stress, anxiety, suffering, trauma, we all experience it in different ways. And sometimes it shows up in physical ways. So I deeply related to this track. So thank you for that. And I know you're very emotional and it means so much to you. And you're right, like creating is such an outlet for these things, because it allows us to like just get it out, instead of like bottling it up and having it affect our mental well-being, but also in certain cases like our physical well-being. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. And I did see that Paymon came up to this space. He had some connectivity issues earlier when we tried, so let's see if we can have him speak. Hi Paymon, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing, Mr. Jennifer? I need to know that you can hear my voice clear for Vice or not my family and their cause. And how are you doing, my family? Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah, yes, we can hear you. Yes, your voice sounds great. Thank you.
Oh my God! Thank you very much for your nice, good, nice, good news. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, actually, this style that you're using for production, your actually music, it's amazing. Actually, I didn't hear actually till now look like this. That you're creating, and it's actually I think that. What is it software that you creating on it, or no, I don't know what is it. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? That what is it actually? What's it name? Generate that you creating your actually artwork or songs on it. And you're actor. Yes, you're an actor. I think that your main education should be about actor or something, I don't know, I have no idea. But it was an amazing, the system that you're using. I didn't hear till now look like this. Thank you for your share. And let me tag Mr. Jennifer and excuse me, Miss Jennifer and Miss Saint. Thank you for let me tag.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I'm glad you vibe with it, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for your very good, kind words. I'm glad you feel it. It's like it really touches my heart in a major way. And the theology of it is like the beat just rides out. Like, it's like this track is one of usually, sometimes I make tracks like 24 minutes, 14, 15 minutes. This is 7. I had to like I would make my track so long. I had to like remember to stop at like 7 minutes, 6 minutes, and 5 minutes. And then I started doing like 3-minute tracks, and like now everyone's doing 2-minute tracks. But like EDM really starts on a journey, and it takes like 16 bars to like drop into like the first, transition. And so this beat specifically, when I heard it, I did. feel like the top one. I just let it ride. Because in the theology of this, when you're in a depression, like when you get depressed, you're like doing good and then you like get depressed and you don't know that you get depressed and you wake up and you're like, I I was in a hole for like 30 days or 2 weeks or like 5 years. Like people wake up and they're like, "Oh my god, like I hasn't happened to me 2 decades later," but people wake up, and they're like, "I was depressed." Like they don't even know how they got there, or how long they were in this black hole. So if you when you go back and listen to the track, how the beat for the first half, it just rides out because we stay down, we stay depressed, and then it takes you on a transitional journey, and then it goes on more of a journey. And at the end, it you remember of where, and it plays the same beat, but not for long, only for like 10 seconds. But it reminds you of the first half of the journey of how you once were stuck and then you moved. Energy, emotion, right? Paul Chek, and energy is energy, emotion. But we get stuck in the depression, we get stuck in the energy, and we have to remember to sit in it, reflect, and then move out of the paralyzation, like move out of it. So if anyone else wants to share, that's kind of like some of the vibes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I love that you said that because I have had periods of that in my life. And I have one thing that helps me sort of get out of those spells, which is my kids. Because, like, when you're a parent, you kind of like have to function not based off of like your feelings, but other people's feelings. So I thank God, that I have them to sort of like snap me out of situations. But there have been moments where even that hasn't happened. And so what you just said was like so spot on to how I cope with things, which is that I allow the feelings. Like, I don't think it's healthy for us to sort of just like power through feelings. Like, I allow the feelings to be felt, but then at some point, I realize that feelings are just that. They are shining light on something, and what I really need to put my focus is on figuring out how to fix that thing, which is making me feel those feelings, and then getting out of my bed and moving forward with whatever it is that I need to do, because motion definitely helps. And being productive about making something positive out of those feelings, I think, is the way to go, instead of just sitting in those feelings. And also having like a support group of people who know you well enough to be like, oh, there's been too much silence, or oh, there have been telltale signs that something's not right. And those friends are like invaluable. Like, my sister is one of those people where she'll be able to like actually understand the silence, and she'll be like, you're going down a downward spiral and we're not doing this. And she'll like literally just show up at my house, get me out of here, and like we'll go do something fun. And being that friend to other people, I think, is super, super important. So that's something I wanted to contribute to. And I do see Paymon's hand is up, so I'll go to him. And then,
Yes.
yes, go ahead.
Yes, if you permission, and it's not actually, but I just wanted to actually add something to this conversation. Actually, as you said, actually, music or artworks is something that actually come from actually heart of or health of actually uh, artists. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoyed your conversation in listeners. It sentence was amazing, effective to me. And thank you for sharing your actually senses and your friends. Thank you for let me take this, Miss Jennifer and Miss Saint. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Of course, my pleasure. I don't know if you have a wall and if you collect. It's on base. It's like a couple of cents to collect it. You can collect it, and there's CC0, which means since you like that track so much, you can put it to your artwork. You can not only mint it and have it in your wallet, but under the special add-ons, because when you get a free mint, they don't allow you to download unless you pay for it. But because of Mental Health Awareness Month, I created an add-on, and I created a file for each track, so you can actually download the track because you'll have the link, so you can put it in your playlist, and actually you don't have to just listen to it from your wallet. I provided the link in addition, just so you can have it in your own playlist. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in and listening and vibing with it and understanding it. And maybe when you're feeling down or want to reflect, you'll listen to it. And maybe, when you're creating your own art, maybe you'll put it on and listen to it too.
Definitely. Love that, sis. Okay, so we are heading towards the last track, believe it or not, right on time. We were thinking of probably doing a 2-hour space, and sure enough, we're getting up on that time. The last track is Schizoaffective Disorder. I pinned up the cover art to the top. I absolutely love this cover art with you and your hands pressed up against what looks like to be glass. Maybe you could share with us what your thoughts were about that, and connecting it to that artwork, and also what schizoaffective disorder is. I'm very new to that term. I'm sure others are as well. So you can educate us.
Sure. Sounds good. Just let me click on it and click read more. So, I didn't know what schizoaffective disorder was until this past year. My sis oh, this my mic wasn't on. Okay, here we go. I didn't know what schizoaffective disorder was till this past year. There's a doctor, his name's Chris Palmer. He was on Huberman's podcast. So he talks about schizophrenia and bipolar. So schizoaffective is schizophrenia and bipolar. It's both of them. So it's schizoaffective disorder. And if you read in the description, it says only 0.3% of the population. This means approximately 1 in every 300 people will develop schizoaffective disorder at some point in their lifetime. 1 in 200. Some sources also cite a slightly higher prevalence, estimating that only 1 in every 200 people develop the condition. However, so many people are misdiagnosed. So many people are so paralyzed and scared. And one of the things about being schizoaffective, and with the schizophrenia part, is being paralyzed, being mentally paralyzed, being paranoid, and being so scared that a lot of people go undiagnosed. So there are so many more people who probably have schizoaffective, but they've never been diagnosed. And then most people who have schizoaffective disorder, they're misdiagnosed. So it's very, very, very sensitive topic. You can read the description to read more about it. And the cover art is from an actor, like Paymon just mentioned. And I was really wanting a role in Hollywood. And I had a vision of this role I wanted. And I've read thousands of scripts, and no one was giving me this role. And then I decided, as a sovereign being, as a leader, as a producer, as a filmmaker, as an artist, I'm going to make the role I want to see. I got the red camera, the big red camera, I got a DP, I got a house, I got the location, and I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it, and it's coming out in June. And it's a film. So this is a still from the film that I starred in and that I produced and directed. It's a short. And a little more backstory about the short is, um, I didn't understand the value in a short until I looked up one of my favorite filmmakers, and I saw that he did. This is a director from Denmark. I saw that he did like 8 shorts before he did his first feature, and I was like, oh, okay. So if he did 8 shorts, I can do one. So I did it. So that's where the still is from. I'm in a hot shower, and it's all steamy, and it's it's like being behind the glass and being trapped, mentally trapped, and wanting to communicate and wanting to be seen and heard, and just feeling like isolated, caged in a jail, but it's all clear and like everyone can see in. Yeah, so that's kind of like the vibe for the cover art of it. And we'll play the track. Here we go. So did you? Here we go. So this track is called Schizoaffective Disorder. And yeah, most people have never heard of it. They don't know what it is. So I just thought it was really important to shine light on this and so people can learn more. Okay, yeah. And then also what I want to share, I love that piece because it's like so unexpected, right? But so this some of the tracks in here, and you'll see in the description, this track has encoded solfeggio healing frequencies 852 hertz by our friend Eric Thompson, who's a scientist over at Subtle Energy Scientists. And if you go Subtle Energy Sciences, if you go to his Instagram, it's subtle_energy. You can see his page or just Google Subtle Energy Sciences. But he's a scientist that encodes solfeggio healing frequencies. And so the 852 healing frequency is often associated with potential benefits in various areas, particularly related to mental and spiritual well being. Here's the breakdown of some commonly claimed benefits: emotional and spiritual beliefs, enhanced intuition. Many believe 852 hertz can help open the third eye chakra, which is linked to intuition, insight, and self awareness. This could lead to improved decision making and a deeper understanding of oneself. Some claim this frequency promotes a sense of spiritual connection and helps individuals reconnect with a sense of universal order. Relaxation reduces anxiety and creating a sense of inner peace. So, thanks for listening and tuning in. I appreciate y'all.
Amazing. Love that so much. I feel like I could feel it too. Like I just got put into like a good zone for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I encourage everyone just to go through all the tracks, look at the description, see, just to learn more and educate yourself and identify like what you know and share with others. Health and communication is number one, and for all of us, and it's free. With all the technologies nowadays, which is great.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to close up this space. And before we do, we wanted to thank everybody for coming out. We see you next week. We're going to have a new lineup of artworks and music. Ill Views is going to kick us off with day 8. I'm super excited for that. And yeah, we just really appreciate you guys coming and rocking with us for the first week's listening party. Again, if you want to contribute, there's actually still some time, right, Katie, for this open call for the art.
A few.
Awesome. So yeah, just reach out to us. We'll see if that can work. And then we'll be back next week, same time, same day for week 2 of the listening party. And then just, always remember, stay in motion. If you are feeling a particular way, reach out to somebody. Our DMs are open. My DM is always open for anybody. And yeah, just stay safe. Love each other and stay positive out here. Anything that you wanted to say before we wrapped it up?
My shaman, one of my shaman friends, Shaman Harry Paul, he taught me a few years ago. He just says, take the deepest breath you've taken all day. So maybe now and always, every day, remember, like, in your nose, oxygen to the brain is number one. For yoga, meditation, everything you do, like neuroscientists will tell you, like the number one thing is oxygen for the brain. So just remember just to take the biggest breath you've taken all day in your nose. And then out your mouth, we breathe in purity and we exhale toxicity. So you can, like, when you're breathing in, it's like cool, fresh oxygen. And when you breathe out your mouth, it's like hot, toxic toxicity. So just breathe in and breathe out. And then we're out. Peace out. Over and out. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. It's been a great 2 hours. Yeah. Bye.